Hey everyone, we are completing section 2.4 today, which is creating and solving inequalities. So the essential question is, how do you write and solve an inequality that represents a real world situation? So we're going to be working more with the word problems and dissecting them and putting them into inequalities, and then actually solving those inequalities. Also, for the vocab, we've just got an inequality. That's the only thing we're going to be looking at today. It's a statement that compares two expressions, but they're not equal, right? There's no equal sign between them. There's actually an inequality sign. So there's two charts that we're going to use that are going to help us out today. And it explains what page they're on and what side they should go on right here. So the first one you're going to cut out is the chart on page 73 that looks just like this. And you're going to paste it in the right-hand side. You do not have to write it. You can paste it. And this distributive property is on page 74, and you can also just cut it out and paste it on your right-hand side. So we're going to look at these really quick, add a couple things to them. If you don't have all this down, if you don't have your charts pasted in yet, go ahead and pause the video and get those done so that we can continue on. Alright, so we're going to add a few things in here. So it's talking about these different symbols. Hopefully you've seen these symbols before. These are the symbols we're going to use today in our inequalities. This means less than. This one with a line underneath it, but facing in the same direction, means less than or equal to. They could be equal. This sign here means greater than, and this one means greater than or equal to, because as you can see, it's got the line underneath it. So anytime it has a line, it could be equal to. So two things we're going to add in the less than or equal to category. We're going to add two of them. So it could also mean at most, right? Or it could also mean no more than. So those are some words that you might see in our word problems that we're going to have to dissect and know that they mean less than or equal to. Alright, and we're going to add a couple words to the greater than or equal to one. Some other ways that we can represent that is at most, nope, just kidding, that was up there, at least or no less than, at least or no less than. Alright, and those line up with the greater than or equal to sign. So add those into your chart because you will see those words today, guaranteed, and you will need to know what symbol they match up to. Okay, and this distributive property should just be a reminder, but anytime that you see an expression that looks like this one, where A, B, and C are real numbers, you can distribute out the A to both the B and the C, and you have A times B. Where does the times come from? Right here. Plus, where does the plus come from? Right here. Plus A times C. Alright? So just make sure that we know that distributive property, so we have it in our notebook just for a reminder. Okay, I'm going to erase this. If you still need it, go ahead and pause the video. And we're going to actually start creating inequalities. We've got a lot of inequalities we're going to look through today, so we're going to start. We're just going to jump right into it. So here's the first one we're going to look into. Max has less than 5 carrots. So Max has less than 5 carrots. Okay, well first of all we need a variable, right? We have doesn't specify a variable. So let's let our variable be C. Let C be number of carrots. So we had to pick a variable. I just picked C randomly. And we know that C, number of carrots Max has. Okay, and we know that C is less than or equal, or less than, so if you look in your chart, less than 5. And that's it, just like that. So if it's less than, this is what the symbol's going to look like, 5. Perfect. Alright, one more example, and then I'm going to have you guys do some on your own. 1/3 a number is more than or equal to 10. More than or equal to 10. Okay, so we've got to figure out what that number is, right? I'm just going to call it x. So my number is going to be, so 1/3, a number, anytime it doesn't say an operation, it's just multiplication, is more than, so you don't really see this as more than, right? But more than is just going to be greater than, right? Bigger than, or equal to 10. Okay? So that would be writing the inequality, right? Creating the inequality. Okay, but if we want to solve it, we want to get x by itself. Same thing we would do if there was an equal sign in here, right? We'd want to get x by itself. So we see that this is multiplication of a fraction. So anytime we see that, we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Anything we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Okay, 3/3, those cancel. 1/1, those cancel. We get x, bring the sign down, greater than or equal to. Make that into a fraction, we get 30/1, which is the exact same thing as just 30. So x is greater than or equal to 30. Awesome. Okay, so if you're not done with this, pause the video. So I'm going to have you guys complete 2 on your own. Alright, the same methodology we just used. So here's what you're going to be doing. You are going to be creating inequalities for those two. Creating inequalities. Okay, for those two. And remember, this is on the left-hand side. It's something you're doing, left-hand side, for these two. Max has no more than 25 carats, and 6 times the number is at least 30. Awesome. Okay, if you're not done with that, pause the video, complete on the left-hand side. If you are back with me, I'm assuming you've already completed those two on the left-hand side, and we are going to move on to some more complex inequalities, and we're going to be creating them and solving them. So creating and solving. So what I need you guys to do is on page 75, there is a word problem that says letter B next to it, and you're going to be cutting out just the instructions, not the work, just the paragraph instruction, and you paste it on the right-hand side because we're going to do it together. Okay? So page 75, the letter B, just the paragraph on the right-hand side. So pause the video to get that done. Okay, if you're back with me, you have already pasted this problem on your right-hand side. So here's what the problem says. Sergio needs to buy gifts for 8 friends. Gifts for 8 friends, okay? He wants to give the same gift, to all his friends, and he plans to have the gifts wrapped for an additional charge of $150 each. So all the gifts have to be bought and then wrapped for an additional $150 each. Okay? If Sergio spends at least $70, he will receive free shipping on his order. Write and solve an inequality to determine how much Sergio needs to spend on each gift in order to get free shipping. So how much does he need to spend on each gift to get free shipping? So we had to pick a variable, right? We don't know how much he's going to spend on each gift. So we had to pick a variable for that. It's an unknown. So this says, let G be the cost of one gift. Let G be the cost of one gift. So let's think about this. How much is he going to spend on a gift? Just one gift. He's going to spend G dollars on the gift, plus every single gift he's getting gift wrapped. $1.50. Right? This one says right there. $1.50. So that's the cost of one gift. Okay? And then we have to consider how many is he getting. So this is cost of one gift. Awesome. And how many of those is he getting? Okay, well, he needs gifts for 8 friends. Okay, we have to multiply the whole thing, not just part of it, the whole thing by 8. Why 8? Because he has 8 friends, right? Number of friends. All right. And it says the very last piece, so we got this, all done. At least $70 is how much he needs to spend. At least. So if you look back in your chart, if you look to which symbol represents at least, right? So it has to be greater than or equal to, it has to be at least $70. 70. Awesome. Alrighty. And then we've got our inequality. That's it. We've done all these. 8 friends, same gift wrap, at least 70. We checked them all off. We've incorporated everything it told us in the problem. So there is our inequality that we created. And now what we need to do with that inequality is actually solve it. I'm going to erase this just so I have a little bit more room to solve this out. And we're going to get 8 times g plus 1.5. You could have the 0, you don't need the 0, so I'm going to keep it off just to keep it simpler. Greater than or equal to 70. And I'm going to erase this bottom part. Alright, so let's solve this out, see what we do. We are going to solve it out just like it has an equal sign here, right? We still want to get this g by itself. That's still our variable that we want to get by itself. So the first thing that we do, a couple things we could do. We could divide by 8 on both sides. It's one step. But I'm actually going to use our distributive property just to practice it. So we're going to distribute out our 8 to both of these terms. Right? And when we do that, we get 8g plus 12 is greater than or equal to 70, right? And then we still need to get this g by itself. That's still part of our expression. We're still treating it like it's an equal sign in the middle. So our next step is the same thing it would be if there was an equal sign. So we are going to subtract 12 on both sides. And what we get when we do that is 8g is greater than or equal to 70 minus 12, we get 58. And we're still trying to solve for this g. We still want to get this g by itself. So our very last step, since this is multiplication between them, we need to undo the multiplication with division. So we divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. We get g is greater than or equal to 7.25. 7.25. And remember, we're talking in terms of gifts. How much are we spending on gifts? We're talking about money. So $7.25. So let's try and write this out in kind of like a sentence to conclude our thing. So we got therefore, I'm going to have these 3 little dots. That means therefore, the gift must cost, okay, this symbol, we think about what they could mean. More than, greater than or equal to, at least, no more than. So at least, no less than, at least, and now we're going to talk about money, $7.25. So we think about, okay, cool. So it's got to spend at least $7.25 to get free shipping. Obviously, he could spend less, but he wants to get free shipping, so that's how much he's got to spend. Okay, cool. So if he bought a gift that was $8 each, would he be good? Yes. $8 is more than $7.25. If he bought one for $7, would it be good? No, because $7 does not work in this case. Alright, I'm going to erase this. You guys are going to try a little bit complex one on your own and see what you can do. So if you still need this, go ahead and pause the video. Alright, so the one you guys are trying, you are going to cut something out of your workbook again. You are going to cut out on page 75, number 4, and remember you need to solve this on the left-hand side of your notebook. The left-hand side. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, complete that. All right, if you're back with me, I'm assuming that you have completed this on the left-hand side, and your answer should be x is less than or equal to 45.25. Awesome. Cool. We've got 3 more we're going to do. So a little more complex ones, and we will be done. All right, gonna erase this. The next one we're going to do is not going to be from a word problem. We're just going to go ahead and solve out one of the equations. We are solving out, so this will be a new title. We're no longer creating, we're just solving inequalities now. All right, and the one that we're going to do is 4/3 times 6x plus 9 is less than 4. So a little bit more complex. So the first thing you might notice is that there is something being multiplied on the outside here, right? So you might want to distribute that, and I think that's a great first step. So let's distribute that 4/3. In order to distribute, though, we might need to consider these as fractions. So let's go ahead and put them over 1 to think of them as fractions. And we're going to have 4/3 times 6x over 1, first 2 terms, plus 4/3 times 9 over 1 is less than 4. All right, 4 times 6x, we get 24x over 3, plus 4 times 9, we get 36 over 3 is less than 4. Okay, now we're going to just simplify these. Before we even try to move things to the other side, we're just working with what we can simplify here. So how about 24 divided by 3? Remember, because a fraction is just division. We get 8x. You could put it over 1 if you wanted to, but you don't need to. Plus 36 divided by 3 is 12, is less than 4. If you don't believe me on those, you can grab a calculator and check it. Right, and now we're going to go ahead and try and get the x by itself. So we're going to circle the term with the x, move everything else to the other side, remembering that we're going to treat that just like it's an equal sign. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 12 from both sides. Anything we do to one side has got to be done to the other. Cancel those out. We get 8x, that's the only thing left on the left-hand side, is less than 4 minus 12. We get negative 8. And now we finally got this term by itself, so now we're just thinking, okay, how could we get the x alone? How can we get that x alone? If we're thinking about the fact that it's actually multiplication right here, we have to undo that multiplication with division, and so we would divide by 8, and you get x is less than negative 8 divided by 8, you get negative 1. Alright, if you don't believe me on any of that, you can check it in the calculator. Alright, I'm going to erase this if you still need it. Go ahead and pause the video. This should all be on the right-hand side, but I am going to give you one right now to complete on the left-hand side. So on the left-hand side, you are going to do negative 2 times 1/4 x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 5. So you are completing this one on the left-hand side. Alright, go ahead and pause the video now and complete that. Okay, if you're back with me, I'm assuming that you've already worked this out, already completed it. So the answer you should have gotten is x is less than or equal to negative 18. Okay, if you did not get that, go ahead and pause the video and try again. Alrighty, very last one we're going to do. Here we go, I'm erasing this. Very last one we're going to do for this lesson. It's going to be pretty complex. We're going to have variables on both sides. We have 8 times 1/4 x minus 3 plus 24 is less than 4 times x plus 5. So So a lot of things going on, a lot of complex numbers, so let's see what we can do. First thing I notice is this looks like some sort of distributive property things, but there's two of them. So let's do both of them. So let's distribute the 8 here, and let's distribute the 4 here. Okay, so in this one, 8 times 1/4 x. I'm going to go ahead and make 8 a fraction to help me out. And we'll make 3 doesn't need to be a fraction. So we go 8 over 1 times 1/4 x minus, so that's the first two, minus 8 times 3. The minus is coming right from here. Alright, plus 24, that 24 hasn't changed, nothing's changed about it, just bringing it right down, is less than, and then let's see what happens over here. We get 4 times x, 4 times x plus 4 times 5. If you don't remember the distributive property, take a look back at what we cut out and pasted in. So here we got 8 times 1, we get 8 over 4 x. 8 times 1 is 8, 1 times 4 is 4, then we bring the x, minus 8 times 3 is 24, plus 24 is less than 4x, it doesn't get simplified, plus 4 times 5, we get 20, and there we are. And then we're going to see what else we can do. Cool, so we have 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4, that's 2x, a minus 24, and a positive 24. Well, those actually add up to be 0. So we could put a plus 0 here, but remember, we don't need to. So I'll put a plus 0, and then we'll cancel it out next time. So less than 4x plus 20. Cool. So now we've kind of simplified both sides as much as we can. You might be thinking, wait, but hold on, there's 2 x's. Can't we just combine those? Aren't they like terms? We can combine them, but not until they're on the same side. Right now, one's on the right side, one's on the left side, so we can't combine yet. But we will in just a second. So let's think about what side we want our variables to be on and what side we want our constants to be on. I will tell you, it's always going to be beneficial to put the variables on the side where the variables have the highest coefficient. So we're looking at a 4 versus a 2, so we pick the variables on the side that has the highest coefficient, which is a 4, which means the numbers, or the constants, need to be over on the left side. So looking at that, right now the 2x is on the wrong side because it's not a number. Okay? And on the variables, well, the 20 is on the wrong side because it's not attached to any variable, it's a constant. So those are the two we're going to have to move. Alright, so let's move the 2x first. Let's move the 2x by going subtract 2x on both sides. Because we've got to move it, it's a positive 2x, so we subtract it. And to get it to the other side, we've got to do it to both sides. This adds up to 0 is less than 4x minus 2x. We get 2x plus 20. So the only thing that's left on the wrong side is this 20, because it's still not a variable. We still haven't moved it. So if we move that, it's a positive 20, it's addition, so we have to subtract 20 on both sides. And we get 0 minus 20, negative 20, is less than, okay, 20 minus 20 is 0, those cancel, so 2x. So let's check our sides. Negative 20 is on the number side, that's good. 2x is on the variable side, that's good. And then we do our last step to get x by itself here. The last thing that we have to do is we have to think, well, this is multiplication. So to undo that, I do division. Those cancel. And my final answer, I'm going to bring it over to the side because I ran out of room, is x. Negative 20 divided by 2 is negative 10. So this says negative 10 is less than x. Negative 10 is less than x. Awesome. Alright, well that is it for this video. You will have some of these complex ones in your homework, so make sure you do understand how to do those. But that completes our 2.4 lesson.